In terms of the next topic, we're going to talk about Vicario. There's been a lot of talk about him. The Spurs fan base have seemingly fallen in love with this guy, this goalkeeper we got at the moment. Highest save percentage in the Premier League at the moment. Brains, do you think he's the best performing goalkeeper in the Premier League at the moment?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a weird thing because, like, is it easier to be in a team where, you know, like it used to be a case where Nick Pope and Ramsdale, when he was at, you know, where was that before Arsenal?
Sheffield United, I think. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like all the teams down there, Henderson and that, when they were down the bottom, they were getting like insane numbers because they were having to save their team all the time. But I think it's harder when you're in a game where you got nothing to do for half hour and then bang, you have to come up with a huge. Some of those saves he made the other night. That's why I was thinking like, that might have seemed like a breezy game because we dominated so much of the possession, but actually like the header in the first half, what a save that was. I was right behind the goal. That was going right into the corner, and the slap, the sound that the impact that it made on his hand, it wasn't a soft header, it was a bullet. And it was
almost past him. He had to kind of claw it back even.
Yeah, it was one of those claw back ones. So like for it to make that sound of him clawing the ball back, like just I think the thing that we lost in Lloris was, you know, the yips of Lloris was the attention span. Like in a game, so he would make a worldie, then something silly. And it's that mentality of like, stay in the game, stay there. And I think that's what Vicario has better than anyone, because he made that one-on-one save late in the game. That was a brilliant save as well. It wasn't like a hit off his knees. He made a really good diving save at that. So some of the saves, I mean, I'm surprised there isn't as many compilations out, because some of the saves that he's made this season, you know, especially going down low, like diving across and just like tipping a ball around the corner, he's been incredible. He really has. I think he might, you know, it's deceiving because obviously you see so much of a footballer out in the field doing stuff, right? But he saved us multiple times.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think we might even be lower than 5th if he hadn't saved us, because we'd have lost games, you know, or we've just drawn so many games. So I think he's incredible. And you have to give, I hate saying his name, but you have to give Levy a little bit of credit. You know, you can say it, but you have to give them credit on that signing, because we were all going Raya, and then 17 million for who, you know, and then bang, it turns out to be the better goalkeeper.
Give the credit to the Don. Give the credit to the Don, Paratici.
Yeah.
But Ash, what are you thinking? Do you think he's the best performing goalkeeper in the league at the moment? And maybe apart from the big saves, what good things have you seen from him?
I mean, according to the stats, he is, isn't it? Like save percentage, he's got the best. He's not far behind Alisson, in my opinion, because the way he commands in the box. Like before with Lloris, I was a bit nervous on crosses and corners, etc. And when Vicario first came, that was one thing I wasn't too sure about. I thought it was a little bit flappy at times when the crosses came in. He wasn't quite like dealing with those crosses coming in. But I think as games have gone on, he's looked a lot more assured, especially when it comes to corners. I'm feeling a lot more comfortable in corners now. Before I'm like, set pieces, but Vicario's commanding his box. He's communicating well. And I love the way he hugs Romero, or if Van der Ven makes a mistake, he's right up to them and he's like, it's cool, man. We've got this. We're one team, one dream, one nation. I love the unity. I love that kind of that assurance in him. Like he kind of assures his backline that it's all right, we've got this. And then the fact that he makes a back three when Van der Ven and Romero split and they go wide, and at times we need to do that to kind of invite that press on if they're not coming on to us. He plays as a third centre back and he's able to use his feet. Now, some people might criticize that some of his passes may have been a little bit wayward against the Fulham game and other games as well, but the majority of his passing with his feet, left foot and right foot, for me, have been good. Like, what goalkeeper has been 100% with their feet? I think his distribution from the back, short passes especially, have been quite good, in my opinion. So it doesn't take as long as well, like in passing out the back, because sometimes when a keeper takes too long, and Lloris was a fault at this, sometimes his first touch wouldn't probably get it under, and then because he's taking too long on that first touch, when he does pass it out to a centre back, that then puts more pressure on the actual centre back, and then that puts pressure on the fullback, because the centre back passes it onto the fullback, and that's where like your Porro had like problems in the past, and then people were like, oh, Porro can't defend. And literally it starts from the goalkeeper. If the goalkeeper knows where he wants to pass it and he trusts his defenders, and that's a key thing, that he trusts his defenders, he's able to give it out to them quicker, and we're able to play it out from the back. How many times did you see us play out from the back? And the whole fan base was calm with it. Like before, we would have been nervous, like, get rid of it. Oh, I don't
Literally heart attacks anytime anyone passes it back, like from the whole stadium.
Nails are flying everywhere, like crazy spit. Like, yeah, but literally, from the back, yeah, I feel like he's done well from playing it out. And then, like Brains has already said, his actual saves like got a reflex of a cat sometimes, because the way he anticipates, I like his anticipation, because a lot of the saves that he's making, a lot of people are like, oh, that was close to his body, I expect your keeper to save it, blah blah blah, but he positions himself in a way where he's able to make that save. I think it was an Arsenal game where he positioned himself, and I think they had a shot, I can't remember who it was, but he kind of gets himself across the ground really quickly, and he's able to make a save to his near post. And that's because of his awareness of where to be and anticipation where that shot's going to be. And that's what you need as a goalkeeper. So you have to big up Don, as you said before, Ben, and when you're scouting a keeper, these are the attributes you need to look at. Like, do they anticipate? Are they good at positional awareness, where to be in the goal line? And also that sweeper keeper thing. I noticed a few times, like he's coming out, rushing off his line, and he's able to help get that ball back up the field or get it back to one of our midfielders as quickly as possible. Yeah. And even like I said before, that bit when he gave that ball to Kulusevski, he was on the left and Richarlison's on the right, the fact that he catches it and then he's able to throw it out quick, I love that, because I used to hate it when keepers catch it, sit on it, and that kills. I used to hate that. But the fact that he's able to grab the ball, hold on to it, and then release it really quickly, that sets us on the front foot. And I like the fact that I want to see more of that. I want to see Kulu more on the left, and maybe Richarlison, maybe going to whoever's on that right, switching over, because I feel like we need a bit more of unpredictability. And we've seen Kulu a lot of the times play on the left for Sweden and play really well and score many goals for Sweden as well. Sorry to kind of divert off the point, goalkeeper.
Sim, what are you feeling? Do you think he is the best currently performing in the league at the moment?
It's a close one between him and Alisson, because I think Alisson is having a phenomenal season right now as well. And I have to say that he's also making some really big saves for Liverpool. Against us, against Newcastle, against West Ham, I've seen him make big saves in games where they could have dropped points. Well, I know they did against us, but I would say he's probably been the more consistent potentially. I don't think he's made a mistake for any goal. I can't think of a single goal I can point to Vicario, and I think he probably should have done better with that one. I think what I've been really impressed with as well, he's made some really good saves as we've mentioned, like against Burnley and on Monday night. But his handling has been brilliant as well. He very, very rarely he will spill a shot, which back into a dangerous area. And whenever he parries the ball, it's always out for a corner or out of a dangerous area as well. He's been very impressive when he comes for crosses from corners and things like that. Very good commanding of his penalty box. And then you add into that the fact that he's been able to make spectacular saves when called upon as well. And he's made non-spectacular saves as well, which look non-spectacular, as what Ash was saying, because he puts himself in a position where where it makes the save look non-spectacular, whereas maybe other keepers, like for example, like when you see Ramsdale having to make a mad diving save for a shot that isn't in the corner, right? And people say, oh, what an amazing save, whereas Vicario makes it look a lot more simple because his positioning is a lot more correct. And that's been also a massive thing. I just think he's been so confident. And especially
that's what it is for me.
And I think especially coming into a new team and a new league, and also not only a new team and a new league, but he's come from Empoli. That's been like the kind of the height of his career so far. And that's a totally different pressure. It's not like he's come from like a Milan or a Juventus or even a Lazio or a Napoli, like a big club in Italy where he's used to this kind of pressure. He's come from a team who are battling relegation in Italy, where the eyes aren't really on him as much. And I know he's fair enough, he's had a great time there, but he's come to the Premier League into a big club where all of a sudden there's a lot more eyes on him, a lot more pressure. And we've seen how many times have we seen a goalkeeper come into a situation like that and crumble? And even if they do eventually get it together, always the beginning is very difficult for them. Always at the beginning, teams are putting them under pressure and they make mistakes and the fans are getting on their back. You can see it this season, Onana, team with David Raya. Like, you've seen it so many times where keepers, it's a lot of pressure to be under. It's probably the most pressurized position for a
Sanchez at Chelsea, losing them throwing the game away.
Sanchez. You've seen De Gea when he first went to Man United. He struggled big time, didn't he, to handle that pressure. So it's the position in the Premier League in football, I think, where, especially as a new signing, a lot of the times it's very difficult early on to get used to that kind of pressure. And a lot of keepers do get used to it in time, but especially at the start, it's very difficult. But he has just basically been so confident immediately. That's been the most impressive thing. And also, not only has he been confident on the pitch, but he seems to be, shouting at people. He seems to be taking that authority as a goalkeeper, which you need to do very early on, setting your defence. He has no problem shouting at a Romero, shouting at a Van de Ven or whatever, if needs to be. And he's basically taken no time at all to bed into that new role as a leading goalkeeper in the Premier League. And that's been the most impressive thing so far. And considering this guy, pretty much up until last season, up until the last couple of years, wasn't even a Serie A goalkeeper, let alone anything else. The fact that he's now a top Premier League goalkeeper after 9 games has been performing at an exceptional level, I think says a lot about his character and his ability as well. And I think he's been absolutely phenomenal. I would say, has he been the best keeper in the Premier League so far? I would say probably yes, if not the second best. I think he's definitely in the top 2. It's either him or Alisson.
You know what, he's improved as well, because remember when we saw the videos on him, we were like, oh wow, this is an incredible reactive goalkeeper. But he would palm a lot of stuff into dangerous areas, and even in the preseason he did it a couple times, and we were kind of like, oh, see, that's going to be a problem in the Prem, But then he hasn't done it, and so he's you can see he's worked on that. He's got that right out of his game. Which is credit to our goalkeeping staff, credit to even Lloris and the goalkeepers union together, how they work together. They would have got that out of him as well.
But I was go on. Go on.
Well, I was going to say he's 27 as well, which is also a plus as well.
And I was saying to Ben yesterday about Vicario as well. When you have a goalkeeper who's capable of making a big save like that, especially when he plays for a team like Tottenham, who are going to dominate the ball a lot of the time, and they're going to be the ones basically looking to pick the lock of the opposition, and the opposition will occasionally get that chance on goal because we're taking a lot of risk. It's all like whenever he makes a big save, that's almost like a goal. And I said that yesterday. Ben scoffed a bit, but I'm saying that's almost as good as a goal sometimes when you can make a big save like that. When you're in on goal and he can pull off and it stops it going in the back of the net, that can be as good as a goal when you're playing like that.
I looked at that score 2-0 and I didn't think that was an easy win. I thought the 3 chances they had that he made big saves on, I thought they were very good chances. Now, if you don't have a class goalkeeper like him in, I think we could have been, sometimes you get those games where you dominate the whole time and then they score and it's like, how did we lose that game? But that would have happened to us last season. It would have happened to us season on season on season. To have this guy here now, he stops that, especially the ones 2 times they got through. One, I think, was a little bit VDV, or it was when Udogie went off and they were kind of messing around with who's going to go left back. I think they might have put Porro and then they put Emerson there, and Emerson just didn't track his guy and he got right in on goal. There was 2 times he got through on there was one where the guy got through on goal. I think one was Harry Brick and one was the other guy, and he made 2 great saves. And so those are moments where and we'd taken off Son and Maddison. It's like, what would we have done if that was 2-2? We wouldn't be top of the league. So
and you kind of see why he got such high praise from inside Italy. I mean, Gigi Buffon, before he moved to Spurs, was talking about, this guy's the future of Italian goalkeeping. I think he even made a comparison to Donnarumma and saying that he could be better than Donnarumma and stuff like that. So I mean, we're really seeing that in front of our eyes. And can you tell me one other keeper that has come into a brand new league in the Premier League with the experience that he's maybe had, even better experience than him, like Onana, that have hit the ground running and been as good as he has been so quickly and had such influence in the team as he's had? I can't think of any, to be honest. Any? Can you think of any? There's none.
Newcastle with Nick Pope, but he's been in the league already.
Well, goalkeeper's made a bigger impact as
Vicario, like coming into a new league.
I would say Alisson.
What, straight away did he do it?
Yeah, I'd say Alisson. They went from,
and even if you are talking about Alisson, you're talking about the best of the best.
Yeah, exactly. He's elite. Yeah. Correct.
Yeah,
correct.
Outliers. Yeah,
it's not bad comparison.
not bad comparison to make. He's being compared to Alisson here, and then Gigi Donnarumma from Gigi Buffon.